Hey, what's up, fam? Now that we're getting the Fairy Tail sequel, and if this does well, I'm guessing there'll be more beyond that. That's just a theory. I think that obviously if there's profit behind it, and Hiroshima likes to please his fans, and they still want more, he'll give more. I think he'll just continue to do what he's kind of doing right now. Write out a plan, and then have somebody take it that he's having draw it and write it. Fill in some areas, and then do it up. But with Zareth and Acnologia, who were the biggest threats within the world, what could really come after that? Obviously, I'm talking about the fairy tale world before someone says, like, what about, I don't know, Doomsday or something ridiculous. Obviously, I'm talking about the fairy tale world. What could come beyond that? And there are multiple theories that could come from that. Maybe the whole, fucking with the ravines of time could cause some form of ripple, and you're going to get some amalgam of both Seraph and Acnologia fused together to create some horrendous death dragon or something. Maybe there's uh, some villain that's affected by um, I don't remember at when Acnologia tore through reality when he came back from the ravines of time. You had chunks of space just kind of falling out. Maybe that did something. He had some dude hit by like a chunk of crumbled up space and reality, and it mutated into some crazy monster, kind of like the Endless from Wraith Master. So no, something ridiculous, like some crazy. Or what I also thought is, if you really think about it, the whole thing with Seraph and Acnologia, we don't know really anything that came before that. We don't know if there's something that happened long, like thousands of years prior, that uh, that was wiped from history because people didn't want to remember it because it was so horrible. And what's cool is within Fairy Tail they have the stellar memory, so they can maybe something happens and the Celestial Spirit King says, like, oh shit, I never really wanted to bring this up because I wasn't supposed to. I was sworn to secrecy, but X amount of these ultra villains that were sealed away and erased from history because no one ever wanted to remember them or ever wanted blah 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 to be revealed, are coming back from, maybe some villain was seeking out to awaken them, Or there could even easily be a villain that comes way later in the series. You have a villain that's whole goal is to become above Acnologia and Zareth, is to, become the next like big super villain within the whole world. There's a lot of stuff that could happen. There's a huge plethora of things. You could have stuff from the future, stuff unknown from the past, people from other. They could easily have Edalus Acnologia show up and be like, "Hey, guess what? I heard shit was going on," and then somehow he gets a power. I don't know, crazy time travel, cross dimension, history erased monsters, guys from the future. We do have time travel stuff like from the future. For those who don't know, there's a story about. I don't think I know if it's canon, but it's like Gadget and Levy's kids come back from the future to, I think it was like the Meet Gadget or something. I don't know. I don't remember the whole thing. It was a light novel, so I didn't read it. But there's a lot of wild cards that could come in here. Obviously, with the sequel, there's gonna have to be a big villain. It doesn't mean it's automatically gonna have to one up the guys before it, but if they end up doing more beyond this, I think they would have to. They would have to bring in bigger game, a bigger enemy. You know what I mean? It'd be really cool to see, what other guys could think of to kind of expand upon this world, and maybe Acnologia and Zareth were just, uh, maybe they weren't the worst within the fairy tale world history. They were just the most known kind of thing. You have something like, for instance, spiders. Obviously, people know spiders, but I'm guessing a lot of people would say like the worst spiders in the world are black widows. Incorrect. And brown recluse? No. I mean, I believe the most dangerous spider in the world is tied between the Sydney funnel web and the Brazilian wandering spider. Something like that, where people could be like, oh, Zareth and Acnologia were the biggest threats to ever exist within Earthland, and then the Celestial Spirit King could be like, that's incorrect. I can say it now because I was sworn to secrecy, but I can reveal this crazy thing that's coming up. But you know with all that kind of stuff, it's all just theory. It's just idea. It's just me kind of speculating around the topic. But I'd like to hear your comments as well. Maybe tell me what you think would be cool to have come back. I was talking to somebody about the possibility of, like, what if there were the first dragons, like the primal dragons. Like, if you have, for instance, you have big bad guys in Warcraft, and then those dangerous dragons from like Reigns and Dungeons, and then you ended up having the five aspects dragons, the main ones. Even beyond them, they had the first one, Galakron or whatever. It took all of them to team up to fight him, and he was like this colossal dragon. What if you had something like that? Maybe like the first brood of dragons, or the obvious bad guy staring everyone in the face that. Even though people are going to say, oh, Hiro Mishima said he wasn't going to do anything with him. He's changed his mind before. He's changed his mind multiple times. He said originally we're going to get a Fairy Tail continuation, and we are. But Ankh Saram. So obviously he's a big contender in the idea of a further villain. He's the one that definitely exists right now that could be the easiest one that could be a villain above Akmelogi and Zeref. But yeah, anyway, give me a comment below what you think about this. Maybe check out my other videos. I do mostly manga and comics. Let me give a thumbs up to this video, maybe subscribe to my channel. But otherwise, thank you very much.